name's Nicole, and this is the CK Diary Podcast. I hope you guys had a great weekend. My family and I talked about it a little bit last week that we were going to go to the Gaylord. Our plans ended up changing, but we had a great long weekend, a super long weekend. My husband took off from Friday to Tuesday, and so we had some great family time, and I'll talk more about that at the end of the podcast. But I have a lot of making and yarn things to talk to you about as well. I'll start off with the tea that I'm drinking this week. I am drinking a tea again. This is from David's Tea. It is called Jelly Donut. This was in the afternoon tea party box from Suburban Stitcher. But this week I will start off with whips because I have no finished objects. Well, I do have finished sewn objects. I guess I can show that to you really quick. My finished sewn objects, I made some firework bags for 4th of July. So the outside is little, I don't know what you would consider that, embroidered, I guess, or stitched on fireworks. And the inside has this really pretty stripy red, white, and blue pattern. They all have a D-ring inside of them. I have 3 up on my Etsy right now. And I made some sock bags too, but I didn't bring one in here with me. There's only one of those left, so if you want to go snatch it up, I would go get it now. I really like the little firework bag. I think it's very cute. I made it with 4th of July in mind, but I had it posted on Sunday before Memorial Day, which was nice. But I didn't finish any knitted or crocheted objects this past week, but I started a lot of socks. All right, so let's get into whips. All right, so my first whip is in this twice sheared sheep bag. I got this from, it was a yarn shop in North Carolina. I think it was the Maggie Valley Yarn Shop. But you can get this on their website too. Since I've been making project bags, I've really enjoyed having project bags that match my whips. But this one was perfect. This was an accidental match. It was just a nice big project bag that I was able to fit this shawl into. This is the Mexico Sunset shawl that I am test knitting for Jen. I will post that, or I'll link all of her information down below. I really love the way it's turning out. It does look like Neapolitan ice cream. I thought that maybe once I got more into the pattern that it wouldn't remind me of Neapolitan ice cream anymore, but it still does, but that's okay. It's really cute. I really like the colors together still. All right. And the yarn that I'm using, I think I talked about it last week. I just bought it from Hobby Lobby. I don't have a yarn store near me, and whenever I signed up for this test knit, I wanted to get started whenever Jen told me I could do the test knit with her, I wanted to get started as soon as possible, so I didn't want to have to order yarn. So I just ran to Hobby Lobby and grabbed their, I can't remember what it's called, I'll link it down below, but it is their 50% cotton, 50% viscose from bamboo yarn. All right. If I'm saying a lot, I'm sorry. A few weeks ago, I had to completely redo an episode because I said so much, but I feel so frazzled. I forgot today was Wednesday. I kept thinking it was Tuesday, so I thought I had more time to record. So at about noon, I think, I texted my husband and I was like, oh shoot, I have to record my podcast today. So I might seem a little frazzled. All right, this is my next whip. So I have 3 sock whips going. It is summer sock camp. It started on Friday, I believe. So I want to make as many socks as I can this month. And this is a pair that I'm making for my son's friend. I showed it last week. This is the finished sock. This is made with Emma's yarn. The colorway didn't have a name. It's just one of her crazy beautiful colors. I showed this too. I made my boys matching socks, and then I had some of this yarn left over. So I decided to make a pair for one of my son's friends. I'm through picking up the gusset stitches, and now I'm working on gusset decreases. I'm almost done with them. And I worked this pattern. It is the Vanilla Sock on Magic Loop by Crazy Sock Lady. That's what all of my socks are that I'm showing you today. That's the pattern for all of the socks. But this one I did 60, nope, that's not right. I did 48 stitches. I cast on 48 stitches. This is the last whip I have to show you because my other sock whip I haven't worked on this past week. It was the Ready to Flamingo sock. The Ready to Flamingo yarn is from Florida Girl Fibers. And then I'm doing the vanilla sock on Magic Loop, and it's a shorty sock. Just the same as the shorty sock. I'm doing 10 rounds for the cuff, 10 rounds for the leg, and then working the foot. So I've already gotten through, I'm working on the gusset decreases on this sock as well. But this yarn is the Roller Rink sock set by ALC Yarns, Avery Lane Creations. I'll link all of her information down below too. This is such a fun yarn to work up, and not on purpose. I didn't even think about it when I was buying the yarn. This yarn is new, so this is kind of a whip and an acquisition. I cast it on I wound it up as soon as I got it, and then cast it on as soon as I was done winding it up. It's all kind of tangled up in there. But these are the colors for the sock set. Let me know down below what you think. I'm thinking I'm going to do a pink cuff, a black heel, and a pink toe on this sock. And then on the other one, I'm gonna do a black cuff, black toe, and pink heel. But I don't know. And then I think I'll have enough of this yarn left to make another set of shorty, or another pair of shorty socks. And if that is the case, then I'm just gonna do just this yarn. I'm not gonna do a contrasting heel, toe, and cuff. But yeah, I really like, that's the back. Ooh, let's get the, this is what the back is looking like. That's my cuff and my heel. And then this is the front of the sock. So cute. I can't wait to keep working on it. I also, for whips, I'll talk to you guys about it, but I'm not gonna show you. I have worked on my mother-in-law's blanket a little bit, the temperature blanket that I cannot wait to have done. I will hopefully get it done eventually. I wanted to get it done before June 8th. I've talked to you guys about it a ton. I've stopped setting a goal for it. It'll get done when it gets done. Oh, and I told you I unintentionally matched the yarn to my bag. You can tell what colors I like. I'm a big fan of black and pink together, and she just happened to have teal. I could too buy this like purpley color, try to find a mini skein in that purpley color, and then do a pair of socks with her the main skein, the 100 gram skein, and then do heels, toes, and cuffs in a purple color so that it matches my bag, just as a fun summer sock camp memory. All right, that was it for whips. And now I can talk to you about some of my acquisitions. So that sock set that I just showed you was one of the acquisitions for this past week. And on the day that I got that sock set in the mail, I also got these yarns from Moonlit Yarns in the mail. This one is Angel's Trumpet. That's the colorway name. It is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. It is a 4-ply sock yarn, 100 grams, 437 yards. It is beautiful. I love it. And then this one is Lily of the Valley, is the colorway name. 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon. It's 100 grams, 246 yards. It is a DK weight yarn. This yarn will be used for socks for myself for summer sock camp. I'm hoping to have them done during summer sock camp. I'll put those with my other summer sock camp yarns. And then this, my husband has an aunt who lives in New Jersey. So she lives quite far away from us. And ever since we've been, probably ever since we've been together, I think ever since we've been dating, she has sent us cards for every occasion. Birthday, Valentine's Day, Easter, Halloween, our anniversaries. Like, she sent us cards for everything, and she never misses one. She has never missed a holiday, a birthday for me, my husband, or my children. And I've only met her, I think, twice, and she's just so sweet and so thoughtful. So I wanted to make her a Sophie scarf out of this yarn. It is a surprise. She does not know. And I'm excited to have it done. Hopefully I will have that done soon. I think I'm going to, let me think. I think I'm going to cast that on after I finish the test knit, because the test knit needs to be done by the end of June. So I think after I'm done with that, the Sophie scarf will be next. All right. And then for more acquisitions. So I'll kind of talk about this acquisition with some life stuff. Last week, I talked about how we were going to spend the weekend at the Gaylord. We ended up not doing that. We decided that we just wanted to, the Gaylord ended up being, their prices were like through the roof. And I don't know if it was because it was Memorial Day or if it was because we were booking last minute, but it was like $400 a night. And we just decided not to do that because that's crazy. So we decided to just kind of stay home for a chill weekend. We went to the pool in the lazy river at our amenity center. There's a neighborhood nearby it's like it's a neighborhood, but it's like a huge all-inclusive community. You don't even have to leave the neighborhood to get anything. They have tons of restaurants. They have, grocery stores. I think they have a Target. Like, they have everything in their community. So we went out there. Everything's accessible by golf cart. They have these huge golf cart paths all throughout the community. And so we went there and we went for a bike ride. We rode for over an hour, and our 4-year-old, who just started riding his bike a couple months ago, rode the entire time all by himself, and he did great. So that was a lot of fun. And then on Monday morning, my husband had, I guess, been researching throughout the weekend, and he found a hotel, one of the vacation clubs out in Orlando. And he was like, well, why don't we just go do one night instead of doing the whole weekend? And they had a cute little, they had like 3 pools, but 2 of them were very kid oriented. There was one that had like this pirate ship thing. I don't even know what to call it. It was like this huge pirate ship, and it had a couple of slides on it that were geared towards little kids, not like huge water slides like a couple of the other pools had. And then one of the other pools had a huge splash pad right next to it, and they had these 2 big towers that you could like shoot water, like have water gun fight kind of things, or water cannon fights, whatever it's called. And it was really nice. Our boys loved it. And then we spent a couple hours in Disney. I don't know if I've talked about it here before. We have Disney passes, but our 2-year-old doesn't really care. Like, he just goes along for the ride. He just likes being around. He doesn't really have any suggestions or anything that he asks for while we're there. But our 4-year-old is very opinionated. He plans our entire trip every time we go, and all he cares about is the monorail, the Skyliner, and the ferry boats, which, if you've ever been to Disney, you know those are all free. You don't have to pay to get on those. You don't have to go in the parks to get on those. You can just, you can go to one of the hotels and hop on the monorail. You can same with the ferry boats. You can go to one of the hotels and hop on a ferry boat. You can go to the park, and you don't even have to walk into the park to use the Skyliner. So we've talked about maybe not doing passes next year, since that's the only thing that our son really wants to do. And it does take up a whole day to do all the transportation stuff. It takes a really long time, because I think the loop for the Skyliner and the loop for the monorail, I might be wrong, but I think I read that it's like 45 minutes to do the full loop for both of those. So, I mean, that's 2 hours of your day right there. And then you have to consider the walking back and forth. And then the ferry boat takes forever to wait for and to ride on. So we've talked about just doing that next year, but we'll see. We'll see if our son actually likes getting on the rides by then. He'll be a little bit older, so. All right, and then while we were in Orlando, we stopped at Four Pearls, which is a yarn shop down there, and it is beautiful. It's the home of Emma's Yarn. I saw Emma's Yarn, La Bien-Aimée, I think is how it's pronounced. And they had West Yorkshire spinners. They had some Spin Cycle. They have quite a few different yarn brands, but it is beautiful in there. I think they are Central, what did it say? I think it's like Central Florida's largest yarn shop, maybe. But it's beautiful, and I love going in there. And I got a couple of things. So of course I got a mini. I get a mini at every single yarn shop that I go into my coziest memories. This is Emma's Yarn. The colorway is Bee's Knees. I've really been loving these caramelly colors. If anyone knows of a sock yarn, preferably a self-striping sock yarn or a speckled sock yarn, but either way, or any way is fine. But I really want a sock yarn that is, it can have other colors in it too, but I want it to be primarily pink and like a caramelly brown. I have another yarn to show you, my last acquisition to show you that's a better picture of the caramel. But I really want to make socks that are the caramel and pink color. This is the last acquisition I have to show you. This is Fleece by West Yorkshire Spinners. It is 100% British wool. It is BFL. It is so beautiful. I love this color with my skin tone. This is the caramelly brown I was talking about. I want this with like a mauvey pink. I can't find the pinky color that I'd want to go with it, but this caramelly brown color, it's just so pretty. But anyway, so this yarn, it was $20. It is a DK weight, 246 yards and 100 gram hank. It was reared, sheared, and spun in Britain. And if you look at the yarn, it looks really, really rustic, which I love the rustic looking yarns, but I do have a little bit of a skin sensitivity, so I don't love wearing anything too scratchy. I mean, I don't think anybody loves wearing anything scratchy, but I do love the look of rustic wool, and this has that look, but the BFL is really soft. When I picked it up in the store, I told my husband, I was like, this feels, I said, it looks like my Peruvian wool, this right here, which is rustic and does have a rustic feel. I was like, it looks like my Peruvian wool, but it feels like my merino wool. Maybe not quite as soft as merino, but pretty dang close. And so I started watching some videos on it, and every single video that I watched, they said the same thing. It has the look of rustic wool, but it feels like merino. And I've got 2 hanks, and I am planning on making the Sophie shawl, the medium size. Now, I know that the Sophie shawl calls for worsted weight yarn. I think it's 100 to 200 grams of worsted weight yarn. I plan on doing the medium size in DK weight yarn. I don't really care about meeting gauge. I am sure I have enough to do the medium size though. I just wanted a nice scarf. I'm trying to build up my knitted wardrobe this year and next year. And I've made the poncho, I made a cowl, and then obviously socks. So next with this yarn, the Peruvian wool, I talked about making a sweater vest, which I still plan on doing. And then with the yarn that I just showed you, a scarf, the Sophie shawl, it's really like a scarf. I don't really understand the difference. I always thought that a shawl went over your shoulders, but whenever you look up knitted shawls, a lot of them are worn like scarves. I'll look into that more, or if you guys have any information about that, you can tell me below. I don't really understand what the distinction is there. But yeah, I think that is it for this week. That is all the yarn I had to show you. I told you all of our life stuff and all of my plans for making. I hope you guys have a great week. If you're taking part in summer sock camp, please let me know. I'd love to follow you guys on Instagram if you have an Instagram, so I can see all the socks that you're making. And I can't wait to talk to you next week. We'll see you later. Bye.